Welcome to this week's episode of the How To's. Now for our host, Dr. Dimitri Bradley.
Hey, welcome everybody. This is Pastor Bradley here with the How To podcast. Excited that you are joining us on today. We've got a great guest in our studio today, Coach Loren Johnson from Highland Springs High School.
Thanks,
Glad to have you here with us today.
Thanks for having me.
We got some things we want to cover today I thought would be a blessing to you out there. Coach Johnson has a great program. He's taken from 0 to 60. He has a lot of good things I believe he could offer, and I believe you can learn some things about how to maybe take your program to the next level as far as a high school football team and program that impacts the entire community. So let's jump right into our conversation and some things I want to throw out to you, Coach. In all of the things that you've got going on, let's go back to your kids and the perception of the kids that you have.
Yes.
And the reality of what you actually have. Because we talked about this before. The perception is that you got thugs, drug dealers, kids who really are not interested in school or anything like that.
Right.
So I want you to go back a little bit and talk about that team GPA and what you require of your players.
Well, I guess the team GPA is easy to discuss and talk about right off the bat. We shoot for our team GPA to be as close to a 3.0 or better if possible. There are years where it's been 3.5, 3.3. Right now we're at a kind of a 2.8. Mm-hmm. So we've kind of put the pressure on the players to get that number up to where it's at a 3.0 for our standard and where we need to be. You know, the county only says that you need a 2.0.
Okay.
For years and years and years, it was take 7 class, and if you pass 5, then you're eligible to play. It could be 5 Ds, and you're eligible to play. But you know, the NCAA says you need a 2.0. They say you need to be a 2.3, so you're not an academic red shirt. We want our kids to be in that 3.0 range or better, so they have no restrictions of playing as soon as they get on somebody's campus.
Good.
We work on that many different ways. Study hall in the afternoon, giving them an opportunity to meet with tutors that are provided through the school each and every day, even if it makes them late to practice or we have to push the practice time back. It just gives them an opportunity to be successful.
So you're getting involved in more than just football X's and O's.
Yeah.
So if you're saying that I'm willing to give up practice time so you can get class time, so you can keep your grades up, because that's going to help you in the long term.
Yeah, I don't think you can preach being successful and you don't take every entity of what you're doing for a high school athlete,
right,
and not push the academic parts up. We can't train the body and not train the mind.
That's right.
So we're on a regular basis, you know, if it requires a young man to be late for practice, and it's going to be a large number of them late for practice, then we push practice back or cancel practice altogether,
right,
so they can do what they need to do. I'm not going to try to compete with their academics.
That's good.
I'm going to support them in their academics and everything that they're doing. If it's 1 or 2 that's going to be late, they come to practice with no punishment, no extra running,
right,
none of that. We just ask them to hurry up and get to practice fast once they are released from their tutoring.
Right.
But we need them to be in tutoring as much as they possibly need it, and get them to a position to where they can be successful.
And I will add this, because even dealing with my son to a degree, as intricate as football has gotten, you need some acumen to actually be able to play this game now and understand it. It's not just run out there and tackle somebody. You need to know who to block, where to put your hand, technique. You need to know what play it is, all of this kind of stuff. It's different. It's different now playing ball than it was maybe 25 years ago.
Yeah, your comprehension skills have to be extremely high. If we do what the young people do, they play the video game, and your awareness has to be on a high level. It's got to be 99.
Right.
if you talk the video game terminology that the kids use. So your IQ has to be extremely high, and then you have to be a person that problem solves.
Okay, good.
You got to be a problem solver. You can't be in a situation and something happen and you be a robot.
Right.
Like, we're not looking for robots on the field. We're looking for people that can react and make something happen in a moment's notice. And those are the guys that we call great, phenomenal athletes.
Right.
They have another sense
right.
that's probably been given to them by the Lord,
yeah.
that they can react to something, or they can see something before anybody else sees it. And then when that's the case, those become our superstars, our NFL players, or great college players, or even great high school players.
Excellent. Tell me this: what was the GPA, team GPA, when you got there? Or did they even calculate that?
I don't even think it was calculated, but we had a number of guys that were barely making it.
Right.
And when I say barely making it, that goes back to that rule in 2008. It was take 7 classes. You have to pass 5, and you only have to pass them with a D.
Wow.
Yeah, we had a lot of guys that were just on a cusp that weren't making it, and there was no other way or no other rule to get them in. So now if a young man makes a mistake, they get a waiver.
Right.
But what we try to do in our football program in Highland Springs, they get 1 waiver in their 4-year tenure in school. We only give those waivers to a guy that's going to be a senior.
Right.
Maybe he had issues when he was younger. Maybe he's had issues his entire time. We give him an opportunity to show that he's going to work on it.
Right.
Now, if he doesn't get it together, then we try to find a way to help him.
Right.
And we try to do that right before he's a senior and give him that opportunity. But in the last 4 years that we've used waivers, I would venture to say that we've used 20 max.
Right.
For a program that has 120 kids each of the 4 years. So that's talking about 500 kids. We've probably used 20, if that. And they were used on guys who are seniors or guys that are transferring in.
Right.
Who are coming from another school and they need another opportunity to kind of get themselves on track.
And they didn't have the academic rigors or the structure that you guys have provided.
Yes, sir.
All right. With that being said, then, I want to ask this question.
Yes.
Because you were able to take not only the football program to a high level, but the academics to another level. So right now we know that, we don't know what it was when you started, but we know it wasn't a 3.0.
Right.
We know that. It probably wasn't even close. Where it is now. So this kind of debunks some of the concepts or some of the ideas that the kids at this school are underachieving. The second thing I want to kind of mention is this. What colleges right now are on the table for some of your kids as far as offers?
So today is May 24th. Within the last 24 hours, you're talking about Yale, Michigan State, Purdue.
Wait a minute, you said Yale. Wait a minute, Yale.
Yeah,
like the Yale, like the with the T-shirt.
Yale, Y-A-L.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
Yale, Michigan State, Purdue, Michigan, Fordham.
Okay.
Penn.
All academic. These are all academically strong.
They're definitely
institutions.
Strong institutions.
They're not necessarily football factories.
That's correct.
Okay.
And they play good football. So again, like I alluded to earlier, there are other schools that have been in Dartmouth, Elon, smaller liberal arts schools throughout the country. They visited our place, but within the last 24 hours, the big one was Yale.
Right. Yeah.
That was huge for me as a coach. And then Michigan State. St. Andrews, which is a smaller liberal arts school that's in North Carolina.
Okay.
And Purdue.
Okay.
Within 24 hours. And those, which are multiple kids.
Right.
About 9 or 10 kids in our program receive those offers. Yeah.
That's excellent. And so like I said, I was out to kind of debunk the whole concept of what you have.
Right.
And what you're working with. These kids have committed themselves not only to play football, but to be better students.
Absolutely.
And we want to believe also to be better men in their community. So it becomes very important. So tell me this, how would someone, because I want to make this clear that they're able to do this on whatever shoestring budget that this school has in the east end of Henrico County, and it doesn't necessarily have the all the economic power behind it that some other areas might have. So how would somebody, if they're interested in supporting what you do at Highland Springs, how would they go about helping the program or helping the school financially of any way, shape, form, or fashion?
Well, I think helping our football program, you can reach out to me at my email.
Okay.
My email is probably the best way to communicate with me.
Okay.
And then also through our football website, so you can get in contact with our football boosters.
Okay.
Right now our football boosters has been the major backbone of our program, and doing it. You say shoestring, I'll say half of a shoestring budget. They've tried their best to just get anything done and take care of all of our needs, whether it be something as simple as footballs, which you need to play, or chin straps, or our state championship rings.
And they're doing this with, they're not just calling up parents and saying, would you donate $500?
It's a lot of fish fries.
A lot of fish fries. Okay, yeah, I want to make that clear. That this is not just people stroking checks and handing you checks. These are parents or people who love the program who are selling fish on the corner to anybody to support the program.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And then doing some programs with the local amusement parks
Okay.
allowing us to come in and work a shift.
Okay.
And we work a shift, they donate that money to our program where we would get paid. So there's some long hours and long nights, not only for the parents, but also for the players.
Right.
And for the coaches and coaches' wives and coaches' children. We're all out there trying to just put, every little bit we can into the bucket.
Okay.
So the bucket then becomes to overflow when we need it for whatever we have it for, whatever comes up. Those are the other ways. If you know any of our alumni,
right.
Our alumni have been trying to do a good job over the last 2 or 3 years just to kind of get out and help us as well. They've done some phenomenal things, cornhole tournaments,
right.
barbecues.
Okay.
Our alumni are trying to do what they can do as well,
right.
to kind of get back into the mix and the fold and help us out.
Okay, excellent. Well, I'm excited about people getting involved in helping this school further the lives of young men. I want to ask something because I saw something on TV the other day, and I wanted to kind of throw this out at you. It's more of a culture or locker room thing.
Okay.
I was watching the news. He's a young man, I think it's in Alabama.
All right.
Who appeared to have been hazed. He was brought up from the JV to the varsity, and the kid ended up getting his arm broke.
Right.
I guess he was played quarterback. I'm not really sure exactly the position, but he was a small kid. To me, in my mind, it was a small kid. So in some of the hazing, when you see the video, it's kind of like way over the top.
Right.
Now, we're all about, because there is a certain level of hazing. Let's just make sure we're clear. Let's be clear with that. There is a certain level of hazing. Carrying bags, carrying helmets, having to pick up equipment after practice, sitting in the front of the bus when younger guys.
Right.
Was the older guy sitting in the back of the bus. I mean, we know that that's all part of the program, and that's kind of how you grow up.
Absolutely.
But this, I thought, was way past what should have been. Now, can you talk to me about how you control the culture in a locker room to prevent something like this from happening? Because we've never heard this about, as wild as they try to portray your school to be, we've never had anything like that or remotely like that concerning your program. So as a head coach, what do you do? How do you handle that?
Well, one of the greatest conversations I ever had or been a part of is with Bobby Bowden.
Okay.
Famous coach, coached at Florida State, was there for years, and he probably would never remember the conversation, but we were at the Gator Bowl, and Virginia Tech was playing against Florida State, and he was walking down the hallway, I asked him a question, I said, what's one of the greatest things you could tell a young coach? And he said this: if you have no leadership, then your coaches have to be leaders.
Right.
So what we try to do in our program to eliminate any of those issues is we put coaches in and around the areas where those things can happen.
Okay.
And, we rotate the responsibility, but it's the responsibility of a coach because they are young people.
Right.
They are kids. They are adolescents, and they make mistakes.
Right.
So we try to put somebody of an authoritative figure around them at all times. But then there are times where you're walking off the field and, we've had coaches say, hey, young guys, freshmen, get the bags. But our intern, especially early on when I was at the school, we don't have to do it now. We in turn ask the seniors to get the bag to show the young people what they need to do and how they need to do it.
Right.
So we try to reverse that role, number one.
Okay.
And then number two, we put an authoritative figure around them in those areas. But we discuss it a lot more. Okay. We discuss handling and the development of the program and how the program has been built with the young people, and we show them the responsibility. Like, we give them the reasons why we do what we do.
Okay, good.
And we give them knowledge and understanding. People perish because of lack of it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
We tell them and explain to them why they can't do those things.
Right.
And it's something that I think needs to be discussed, and it's not a rites of passage type deal at our school.
Right.
The best athlete's gonna play.
Right.
9th grade, 12th grade. It doesn't matter. So it's not a rites of passage. You've been here long enough so you can do this, or I've been here long enough so I can say this.
Right.
We try to eliminate that as much as possible, and we just try to make sure the kids have great understanding that you don't need to put your hands on anybody.
Right.
If you're not in between the white lines.
Right.
So in between the white lines on the football field, you can be as physical and be as aggressive as you want.
Right.
But outside the white lines, you need to carry yourself a different way and handle yourself differently.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, that's good to know, because I think that, although I've never heard anything to that magnitude,
Right.
I mean, we know this, some of this occurs, and I think it says a lot about your character and your coaches that you would take the responsibility that, hey, these kids are in our care, so to speak, and it's our job to make sure that certain things don't happen, in the sense of being present. And I think that becomes extremely important and would make a parent feel confident about turning my child over to a program.
Well, I think the number one thing for us is, and my wife says it all the time, the school is my first home.
Right.
Jokingly, she says that, and we laugh about that on a regular basis. But if that's the case, if we use that statement and say, okay, the school is like Coach Johnson's home. Well, when you invite, or I invite your children to my home, then I'm gonna treat them with that same type of care as being a father.
Right.
So when we're at the school, they're all my children,
right.
and I'm responsible for all of them. So I don't want to have to make a call to my wife and tell her that, hey, somebody is injured for some unforeseen reason. I wasn't paying attention, I wasn't watching, I wasn't doing this.
That's right.
So if I put that same context on our program, I don't want to call anybody's mother and tell them, hey, your son was injured because I wasn't aware.
Not on
the football field, they see it.
Yeah.
Like they're at the games on
Right.
Friday nights, so they see it. But they were horse playing in the locker room, and your son cut his eye, or your son hit his head, or your son is unconscious, or your son's going to the hospital. Like that is the most,
It's the worst conversation.
that's the worst phone call that I want to have with a parent.
Right.
And so we try to eliminate that by just saying, hey, guys, this is what can happen, this is what will happen, and let's eliminate that and avoid that as much as possible.
Good deal. Well, I want to thank Coach Johnson for spending some time with us
Yes, sir.
the last
Thank you.
couple of days. We've been excited about some of the information. If you want to get in contact with Coach Johnson or the program, there's going to be some information on the screen to show you how to do that. But I believe this has been a blessing to many of those who are watching, and I believe it gives some coaches some insight into how to take your program to the next level. Until again, we'll see you soon. God bless.
Thanks for watching the How To. Please like and share the video and leave a comment below to tell us what you think. You can also visit us at dimitribradley.com for more things about Pastor Bradley. And please, don't forget to subscribe to City TV.